the Little Red Lighthouse and the Great Gray Bridge. And it was written by a woman called Hildegard Swift, and the pictures were done by a man called Lynn Ward. And when we open, we see the Great Gray Bridge. Once upon a time, a little lighthouse was built on a sharp point of the shore by the Hudson River. It was round and fat and red. It was fat and red and jolly. And it was very, very proud. Behind it lay New York City, where people lived. And you could see the New York City back there with all those big buildings and the Little Red Lighthouse standing there. Before it sailed boats on which people rode. Up and down sailed the boats. On and on rolled the river, all the way from Lake Tyr in the clouds, high up in the mountains, came the Hudson River. It rolled down the mountains. It rolled and rolled and rolled. It rolled past Albany. It rolled past New York, and it went on forever looking for the sea. Now, the boats on the river talked to the Little Red Lighthouse as they passed. Hoot, hoot, hoot. How are you? Said the big steamer with a deep, throaty whistle. Salute! Lisped the slender canoe as it slid along the shore. Chug, 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 cheerio, called the fat black tug as it pulled on its way, pulling a load of coal on a barge. By day, the Little Red Lighthouse did not answer. It was quiet when the boats called. It was still. It just stood still. But every night, just as at the fall of dark, a man came to tend the Little Red Lighthouse. He took out his jingling keys. He unlocked the small red door in its side. He climbed its steep and winding stairs, up, up, up to the very top. He took off the thick white cap that let it sleep by day. It turned on the gas with a funny small black key. Up, up, up flowed the gas from the 6 red tanks below. Then the Little Red Lighthouse spoke out plainly. Flash, flash, flash. 1 second on and 2 seconds off. Look out! Watch me! Danger, danger, danger! Watch my rocks! Keep away! Flash, flash, flash! It felt big and useful and important. What would the boats do without me, it thought. It was very, very proud. The boats saw the light and were safe. The boats saw it and they kept to the channel. The boats were grateful to the Little Red Lighthouse. Sometimes a fog crept up the river. Then the man came to wind up the big black clock inside the Little Red Lighthouse. He wound and wound and wound it. The clock was joined to an iron bell outside. The bell began to ring. Warning, warning, it said. Flash, said the light. Warning, said the bell. The Little Red Lighthouse had 2 voices then. Every day it felt bigger and prouder. Why, I am the master of the river, he said. I am the master of the river, it thought. Then one day, a gang of workmen came and they began to dig. They dug and they dug and they dug. By and by, great steel girders began to rise up against the sky. A big group of men were carried over the Hudson on a barge. Across the barge stood 4 great reels. 1, 2, 3, 4. And from each reel, there trailed a slender silver line. All the boats on the river stopped moving. All the nearby boats turned to look. Even the river seemed to be very, very still. When the men came back, they seemed happy. The first cables are over, they called. The catwalk will soon be up. And the other man shouted, "Hooray!" What do they mean, thought the little red lighthouse. What are these things called cables? They are over. Now the days and the weeks went by. Every night, little lighthouse spoke plainly. Flash, flash, flash. Every day it watched the strange new great thing beside it grow and grow. Huge towers seemed to touch the sky. Strong loops of steel swept across the river. How big it was, how wonderful, how powerful. A great bridge spanning the Hudson River from shore to shore. It made the little lighthouse feel very, very small. Then, one night, a great beam flashed from the top of the nearest great tower. Flash, turn, flash. Now I am needed no longer, thought the little red lighthouse. My light is so little and this one is so big. Perhaps they will give me up. Perhaps they will tear me down. Perhaps they will forget to turn my light on. That night it stood waiting and waiting. It felt glum and anxious and queer. The night grew darker and darker. Why did the man not come? The little red lighthouse could neither speak nor shine. Then, in the middle of the night, there came a storm. The winds moaned, the waves beat against the shore. A thick fog crept over the river and tried to clutch the boats one by one. See how the fog looks like a hand trying to clutch the boats? The fat black tug was coming back from Albany. It was caught and blinded by the fog. It looked for the little red lighthouse, but it could not find it. It listened for the bell, but it could not hear it. So thick the fog was, it could not see the light flashing high from the great gray bridge. Crash, crash, crash! The fat black tug ran upon the rocks and lay wrecked and broken. Then the great gray bridge called the little red lighthouse. Little brother, where's your light? Am I brother of yours, bridge? Wondered the lighthouse. Your light was so bright that I thought mine was needed no more. I called the airplane, cried the bridge. I flash to the ships of the air, but you are still the master of the river. Quick, let your light shine again. Each to his own place, little brother. So, the little red lighthouse tried to shine once more. It tried and tried and tried. It could not turn itself on. This is the end of me, it thought. This is really the end. My man will not come. I cannot turn myself on. Very likely, I shall never shine again. Dark and silent it stood, and it was very, very sad. But at last, it heard the door opening far below. At last, it heard steps rushing up the stairs. Why, here was the man hurrying to attend it. Where have you been, man? I thought you were never coming. Oh, those boys, they stole my keys. This will never happen again. Now the little red lighthouse knew that it was needed. The bridge wanted it, the man wanted it, the ships must need it still. It sent a long, bright, flashing ray onto the night. 1 second on, 2 seconds off. Flash, flash, flash. Look out! Danger! Watch me, it called. Soon its bell was booming out too. Warning! Warning! It cried. The little red lighthouse still had work to do, and it was glad. And now, beside the great beacon of the bridge, the small beam of the little lighthouse still flashes. Beside the towering gray bridge, the lighthouse still bravely stands. Though it knows now that it is little, it is still very, very proud. And every day, the people who go up the Riverside Drive in New York City turn to look at it. For there they both are, the great gray bridge and the little red lighthouse. And if you don't believe me, go there and see it for yourself.